Hi YouTube, my name is Jeff Yeomans and this is the Yeomans Report for 15 May 2017. Without further ado, this weekend was pretty eventful in information security, and that's because I WannaCry. The I WannaCry malware, also known as ransomware, ran rampant around the world. And why was it allowed to do that? So I'm going to talk about why that was enabled, what we could have done to prevent it, what you can do now that you're infected, and I'm going to talk to both the tech crowd as well as the layman. So hopefully there's a little bit for everybody in here. If you have comments, questions, concerns, put them in the comments below and I'll reply. If you like the video, I do these daily. Click the subscribe link, hit the little bell, and every day you'll get about a 5 to 7 minute video on what happened that day in information security. Without further ado, let's talk about WannaCry. So, WannaCry is ransomware, like I mentioned before. It exploits a flaw in the Windows operating system and encrypts data files on the computer. So once it encrypts all of the files, it's going to ask for $300 in Bitcoin. Keep in mind, Bitcoin isn't a franc, it's not a euro, it's not a dollar, it's not a mark, and it's not a pound. So what is it? Well, when you get infected, it'll give you a link on how to go get Bitcoin. How nice of them to tell you how to pay up. So, current news, and this is for the tech folks, the malware investigators have found that the encryption key is actually built into the executable, which is pretty unique. Normally, that code will call out to an external server and bring it down to protect that key. Well, in theory, this leaves the possibility for it to be reverse engineered, and you could potentially get a decryption key, but that's a lot of processing power to break it the first time. Once it's broken the first time, though, those decryption keys can be spun out, but honestly, it's not a realistic scenario. And we'll talk about what you can do if you are infected here in just a second. So, what else have the malware investigators found? Well, I got to tell you, if you're a company who is scared right now that you don't have a security person in place, we're going to talk about that in detail. But Malware Tech Blog, these are the guys that solved this, and they solved it probably within 24 hours. Now, are there going to be variants? Is this still going to be a problem? Yeah. If you don't patch your system, it'll still be a problem. And again, we'll go through all those steps here in a second. But Malware Tech Blog deserves a big load of credit on this one. They found the kill switch, they published that kill switch, and then all of the systems that get infected try to go out to this big long .com name. They registered that domain name, so everybody going through a DNS server or the software going through an updated DNS server trying to get to that malware site that the bad guy set up now goes to their site. So nothing's done. So it stopped it right in its tracks. They had the knowledge and the insight to not only find the kill switch embedded in the code, they also redirected the bad guys to the good guys' site. Good on you guys. That's just amazing. You guys are heroes. Without further ado, the first steps. As a tech person, the first steps of what you're going to want to do is understand the binary. See what's going on. Secure a virtual machine and run the executable. Make sure you get a copy of your virtual machine, because you're going to have to reload it and load it and reload it and reload it. Anyway, use a tool to freeze the command windows, because those command windows are going to come up and go down, come up and go down, and you want those frozen so you can see exactly what code came out on them. The next step is, before you execute the binary, make sure that you're running Wireshark and your PCAP is capturing the data. You want to see where it goes and what it does and how it's coming in and that stuff. Now, there's a tool called Process Hacker that will also help you monitor your system resources and debug that software. Run that as well, so you can see exactly what the software is running, not just in those command lines and the various things that those individual commands are doing inside of the VBS code, but also see what the system resources are doing and what the overall software is doing in relation to that. So what you want to do from this, and why you want to do this, is you want to identify the IP addresses and make sure they're added to your block list. At this point, there's probably thousands of them. You want to pipe that information over to a text file and get it on your blacklist, on your firewalls, or on your routers. Next slide. You've got, you're infected. So what do you do? Well, there's one of three things you can do. One, you can restore from your latest backup. If you have a backup. If you don't have a backup, you can rebuild your operating system with a clean install. And what that means for you laymen, it's just a plain operating system. You lose all of your files, you're back up and running, you don't have the ransomware anymore, but you don't have any of your files either. If you need your files, the third option is to pay the ransom. Follow those instructions and move on. Again, these are your only three options at this point. So what could have prevented this attack? In an enterprise environment and at home, patch management. Know what you're doing for patch management. Windows operating system allows you to update those patches when you're not there. You could set it for 2 o'clock in the morning and leave your computer on and it will patch. Microsoft has what's called Patch Tuesday. Every Tuesday they put out patches that need to be updated. Some critical, some not so critical. But if you leave your computer up on Monday night, Tuesday night, those patches will be pushed to your computer and it'll be updated. In the office, stop letting the business jeopardize the infrastructure. The business is going to say, oh, you can't take it down. We have customers coming in. We're doing this and we're doing that. And we have a short period of time. Stop. The CIO needs to reach down and tell the business area, if you don't do this, you're not going to have any customers. Stop being bullied by the business. They can afford 2 hours of downtime to go through the patch, test, development, and production cycle. Patch management, critical process. Next up, backup management. Know what you're doing for backup. If you're still putting the CD in there and you're backing up files once a month at home, fine, so be it. Get your files off there. You can use cloud storage at home. There's several companies that offer cloud storage. Just Google it, and they'll help you run through how to back up your information and how much backup you need. If you lose all your grandkids' pictures or all your kids' pictures, you're going to be upset. And that's exactly what this is going to do. At work, you need to get that backup process in place, and it's more expensive than you think. You need to make sure that it's following all of the good security rules. Encrypt your backups. Make sure that you're not simply relying on a hot or warm replication site. Replication is not backup. And then test your recovery process. Make sure you can go and grab 1, 2, and 3 files from your backup tape or your virtual tape and make sure that they restore properly. Make sure the encryption keys are working, because that's essentially what's going to happen in this case. You're going to want to go in, and if it's a time bomb ransomware, you're going to want to be able to go in, remove certain files, and then restore everything else. So make sure you have a full functional backup software that's capable of both restoring individual files and taking individual files out of a full restore. Privileged access management. A lot of the things that are happening inside of the binary are changing the permissions of files. If that user has the ability to admin that computer, this is going to run rampant. There's no reason why one of your employees has to have admin rights on their computer. Make sure that they have the printer DLLs available so they can print, and that's all they need. People do not need administrative rights. At home, create 2 profiles and use the one without administrative rights. Create yourself a profile from just a user perspective. This applies to all viruses, all ransomware, everything. If you don't have administrative rights, it's going to stop it in its tracks. When you first set up a system, a Windows system, you have control of everything. Create yourself another user that just has user rights. Again, Google's your friend and can help you through all of this. What could have prevented this attack again? Contingency planning, disaster recovery. Think about disaster recovery, everything that could have happened, who's in play, who's going to do what. Walk through it, step through your sandbox, and make sure that you understand, just like if a fire was in your house, who's going to meet who, where, what exit you're going to use, and when, and make sure everybody's safe. Disaster recovery is not for the faint of heart. It's very hard, it's very difficult, and it takes years sometimes to shake out the right processes. But at this point, anything you can put in place is going to be better than nothing put in place. what are my final thoughts on this? To the users who implemented this ransomware on a Friday, seriously? You don't think 4chan's going to come after you? You don't think Anonymous is going to come after you? These guys have regular jobs. They have wives that are nagging at them, and they didn't see them all weekend because of you. You better hope you're not found, because if you are found, these guys are going to eat you alive. You will never be able to come online again. Their wives are yapping in their ear because they had to work all weekend, and you're not worth them yapping in their ear. That's my 2 cents. If you're going to do something like this, be smart about it. Don't piss off the guys that are actually going to go in and fix things, because if you do, they're going to make sure you don't do it again. Security's not cheap, and it can't be done on the cheap. If you don't have a security staff in your company and you have over 50 employees, you are wrong. Make sure that you have a dedicated security person. All of the frameworks that you're going to use, HIPAA, NIST, ISO 27002, they all say, COVID, all of them, they all say you have to have a dedicated security person. And most of them say that dedicated security person has to be certified. And then they break out the granularity of those certifications. So if you are a CEO or a COO, this is your wake-up call. This is going to happen to you. Get a security program in place. Hire somebody. If you have to go get a consultant, fine, but plan on having that consultant there 8 days a week, 40 hours a week, 242 hours a year, 2,048 hours a year, whatever it is. Security's a full-time job. That's just the way it is. Anyway, I'm way over my time again. I hope this helps somebody. If you need any more information on this stuff, again, click the subscribe button, click the bell, comment below, and we can talk about how's it going. Take care, YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow.